The 2025 summer season has come to an end, and with it comes the end of the anime simulcast of that season. This was, in my opinion, one of the best seasons for new anime, and I watched 20 simulcasts of this past summer, which I will be ranking here, 4 of which are seasons of ongoing anime. Now, just so you know, if an anime isn't on this list, that just means that I haven't watched it yet, so don't freak out too much about it. But without further ado, here we go. At number 20, my least favorite simulcast of the 2025 summer season is Night of the Living Cat. This anime has an interesting take on zombie apocalypse shows like The Walking Dead, as the zombies are cats, and they're trying to turn other humans into cats. I like the idea, and the show was pretty funny at some points, but what puts this anime at the bottom of this list for me is the execution of the idea. I found the execution to be repetitive, with a lot of moments of humans being scared of the cats but not wanting to hurt them because, well, they're cats. And after that, there's not much that happens, and the ending didn't make too much sense to me, in my opinion. I won't spoil it here, you'll see it once you watch it, but overall, I thought this anime wasn't that bad. Very unique, in my opinion, but it could have been a lot better. Next up at number 19, we have The Shy Hero and the Assassin Princesses. This anime is about 3 female assassins who join the party of a shy hero, Toto, who needs 3 people to make his party a party of 4. This hero is overly strong, but he's weak to the feminine charm of these assassins. Honestly, this anime was pretty funny at some points. I also liked the development of Toto, as he goes from being a super shy hero, afraid of talking to anybody, to a more talkative one, but not to the point where you can consider him an extrovert. But the biggest problem with this anime for me was the predictability of the events. One of the assassins needed to talk about killing the hero. Well, they hug the hero and he'll just go unconscious. You have a strong monster and the assassins can't fight it off. Well, the hero will defeat it in one shot. It's, in my opinion, pretty generic, but it's definitely not the worst I've seen of this season's anime. At number 18, we have Apocalypse Bringer Minogra. This anime is about a guy who's one of the best players in this game called Eternal Nations. And one day, he's sucked into this game and becomes the lord of this land he creates called Minogra. This anime is very similar to other isekais you'll find out there. It has a lot of the same character tropes as other isekais as well, such as the overly powerful character, the broken characters, and the character who doesn't care too much about everything going on. The start of this anime wasn't the best, but it got better as you kept watching. The elf twins, Maria and Karya, were probably the best characters of this series, as they go through the most development, from being very shy characters who were afraid of a lot of things, to one of the strongest characters physically in the series. But that's just my opinion. It's overall not a bad anime, but there's definitely a lot of other anime that stand out more than this one. At number 17, we have Tougen Anki, an anime about a conflict between 2 groups called Oni and Momotaro. And Shiki, the main character, was raised as a Momotaro, but is actually an Oni, and he gets dragged into this ongoing war. The idea of the anime is really cool. I thought the power system was unique, with your blood being the main factor in what you can do, but the execution of these ideas, in my opinion, weren't the best. I thought this anime could have been played out way better, but it has your generic group of students trying to get powerful, your generic teacher who's more powerful than everyone else, and your generic villains that want to take over. I'm looking forward to seeing what direction this anime takes next, but for now, we'll have to leave it at number 17. At number 16, we have The Water Magician. This anime is about a guy named Ryo, who reincarnates as a water magician who lives on his own for a few years. Later, he meets a knight named Abel, who introduces him to a society that has similar powers to Ryo, though not all water magic and not as strong as him. Now, I know this anime was one of the most popular simulcasts from this summer on Crunchyroll, and I could see why. It hits a lot of the marks on popular isekai anime: great characters, great villains, heartfelt moments, and a lot of magic being involved. But my biggest problem with this anime is that it's not as unique as others on this list. When I watched this anime, it just felt like I'd seen this somewhere before. But that could just be me, and most of you may enjoy this anime for what it is. Up next at number 15 is Ugly Mug Epic Fighter. It's about an ugly guy named Shigeru who gets the opportunity to reincarnate in another world and design his own player build. Angry at everything that's going on in his life, he drops his looks to the lowest they can go and makes himself not able to come into contact with any woman, which gives him increased stats in aspects like power, making him a quote-unquote almighty god. This anime is very funny, the fights are good, and the character development is good, apart from Shigeru himself. I find that he stays the same throughout the show, while everyone else develops and changes by the end of the season. Other than that, this is your typical isekai anime that doesn't really stand out from the others, but it's still a fun watch. I hope it can continue to the second season because there are definitely a lot of unanswered questions from the first season. At number 14, we have Detectives These Days Are Crazy. This anime is about a struggling detective trying to find work until he meets a high school girl who wants to be his apprentice. From then on, they solve many cases together. This is a funnier anime than Ugly Mug Epic Fighter, and it's similar to Gintama with its humor, with there being a lot of surprising moments and a lot of shock humor. But I do find that some of the jokes are predictable, and sometimes there's just too much going on. Gintama also has a lot going on, but because of the length of that show, everything can be explained later. Considering this anime is 12 episodes long with no sign of a second season, I think that's a factor that doesn't make this anime as good as others on this list, so I'll leave it at that. At number 13, we have The Rising of the Shield Hero Season 4. The Shield Hero series as a whole is about a guy named Naofumi who goes into another world and becomes part of the 4 cardinal heroes, and he meets a lot of friends and comrades along the way. He goes against the wrongs of this world and fights to save others. Shield Hero as a whole is a great anime, but this season was kind of meh. It wasn't the best out of all the seasons, and I found myself lost at some points, but it could be because it's been a while since I saw the prior seasons. Regardless, Shield Hero is a great anime, but I personally enjoyed these other 12 anime better than this season, which is what I'm basing this list on, not the entire anime. At number 12, we have Welcome to the Outcast Restaurant, an anime about a guy named Dennis who gets exiled from the strongest adventurer group in his country, and he starts his own restaurant since he was a cook in his former party. He frees a slave named Atelier, and she ends up working for Dennis at his restaurant because she wants to. This is a great anime with a lot of positive messages about camaraderie and how you should always follow your dreams and make them reality. Though I thought towards the end of the anime, it did feel a little rushed, and it ended with a lot of plot holes. I hope they have a second season of this anime, but for now, it will be at number 12 on this list. Next at number 11, we have Onmyo Kaitan Rebirth Verse, which I think is only getting this one season. Correct me if I'm wrong. This anime is about a guy named Narihira Takeru who ends up in another world fighting Oni and other monsters. He also has to protect a princess named Tsukimiya who he used to see in his dreams a lot. This anime starts out great, with Takeru continuously fighting monsters and going back to when he entered the world each time he got killed, kind of similar to ReZero. But after the start of this anime, the plot got really confusing with all the concepts of time and the different Denji Heian Kyos, which is the name of the world everyone's in. And this series ends with a lot of plot holes, just like some of the other anime I mentioned. I really wanted this anime to be higher on this list, and I really enjoyed most of it, but I enjoyed these other 10 anime way better than this one. At number 10, we have Clevadis. This anime is about a hero who tries to slay a magic beast named Clevadis, but gets killed, and shortly after gets revived by that same magic beast to raise a child. This child happens to be the prince of a royal family. This was a very fun anime to watch, and the fight scenes were really good. The art style is very unique as well, but like some other anime on this list, plot holes are a problem in this anime, and the direction of the story can be a little difficult to understand sometimes. But other than that, this anime was a great watch, and if there's a second season, it may clear up some of those plot holes. At number 9, we have the second season of Grand Blue Dreaming, which, the anime as a whole, is about a group of college students having fun on a diving team, which can mean many things based on how you look at it and who you ask. This is a very funny anime, one of the funniest I've watched. It has really great characters. As a whole, I would give this anime a high rating, but from this season alone, it was just good and wasn't anything special. Still, I would recommend this anime to anyone that loves having a good laugh. Next up at number 8, we have Dandadan Season 2. This anime as a whole is about a guy named Okarun who is interested in the occult, which are spiritual beings, aliens, and stuff like that. One day, he meets this girl named Momo Ayase, whose grandmother is a spirit medium, and together, they're exposed to a lot of monsters, aliens, and spiritual beings, and to fight a bunch of them. Dandadan is a very funny anime as well. The series is great, and this season is also pretty good. But the reason why it's ranked here is because I read the manga and I knew what was going to happen. I know, this was a cop-out, but because of this, you may have this anime ranked higher on your list. But this is my list, so it's based off purely my experiences. But regardless, I highly recommend Dandadan to anyone who loves a good classic shonen. At number 7, we have Hotel Inhumans. This anime follows a hotel that houses murderers and other criminals, and the employees can't refuse a request from their customers. This anime is very unpredictable, the cases in the episodes are very well written, and the characters are great too, with a nice contrast between the two main characters, Ikuro and Sara. One being a nervous guy who wants to quit working at the hotel in the beginning, while the other is a cold-blooded murderer. This anime also has a lot of positive messages about how murder and committing crimes is bad, and that it will get you into a lot of trouble. It's also a very sad anime at certain points, but ultimately, this anime leaves a lot on the table in terms of plot. I feel like it could have been better based on what it worked with, but it was still good. Overall though, this is a very underrated anime. Next at number 6, we have With You in the Rain, an 11-episode anime about a woman named Fuji who adopts a dog-like animal off the street, and they do many things together. This is a very calm anime with not too much going on in terms of plot, and it has really great characters. It's great to see a slice of life anime that's not romance focused. It's definitely one of the most unique anime I've seen. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Nothing super surprising or aspects that blow me away with this anime, but it's still a great watch nonetheless. Now we get into my top 5. All these anime have aspects that have that wow factor and stand another level compared to the other anime I've mentioned. The first anime we're going to talk about at number 5 is Lord of Mysteries. It's about a guy named Zhu Mingri who becomes a beyonder named Klein Moriarty, who are beings with magical powers, and he gets dragged into a war between certain churches and groups. Now, this is the best anime visually from this past season. It's probably one of the best looking shows I've seen, period. The characters are great too, and the plot is good once you understand it completely. For most of this anime, there is a lot going on, and it got really confusing at some points, which lowered this anime in my rankings. It tries to introduce too much in a short amount of time, and some extra rewatching or reading can be required for some in order to fully understand this anime. Nonetheless, this is a really great anime I recommend to anyone, and who knows, you may not have the same experience that I had. Next at number 4, we have The Summer Hikaru Died. This Netflix exclusive is about a guy named Hikaru who gets killed in the woods, but his body gets taken over by a spirit, ultimately acting like he's still alive. This is a very horrifying anime considering the context of it, but there are a lot of positive messages about moving on, and the ending to this season is pretty good as well. Though, there are some moments that feel like filler to the series, which is a concern for me since the series is short so far. Nevertheless, I don't really mind the filler. It's still a great anime to watch that will probably leave you sad by the end of it. But that wasn't the saddest anime of this summer. As with number 3, we have Takopi's Original Sin. This is a 6-episode anime about a girl who gets bullied in school and ends up meeting an alien creature who she calls Takopi that tries to help her out through the devices he has from his home planet, which he got exiled from. This is the saddest anime on this list, and it's pretty shocking at some points. It's kind of similar to Inio Asano's works like Goodnight Punpun. I love this anime. I wish it was a bit longer, but for what it is, it's a very great anime. Now, going on to something less sad, we have Gachiakuta at number 2. This anime is about a guy named Rudo who's accused of murdering his father, which sends him to the pit, which is pretty much a huge landfill that people from the surface use to discard their trash. In this pit, Rudo meets a group of people who help him reveal a secret power he has to turn trash into useful weapons. I have never seen any other anime like this. I really hope this anime continues in the fall, since the last episode was left off on a cliffhanger. The art in this anime is very good, and honestly, there aren't many flaws with Gachiakuta. It's adapted off a well-known manga, and I'm excited to see what direction this anime ends up taking. But I personally enjoyed one anime a little bit more than this one. At number 1, and to not much surprise if you've been watching my recent videos, we have To Be Hero X, the continuation of season 1 that aired in the spring. This anime is about a society where heroes gain their power off their reception from the general public. The stronger your reception, the stronger you are physically. Part 1 of this season was good, but part 2 was way better, with more details on heroes being revealed and more information about X being revealed, who is the long white-haired guy in the intro. This is an amazing anime that everyone should watch, with many plot twists. And it's my personal favorite from the summer season. I'm very excited for season 2. And that'll be it for this video. To anyone still watching, thanks for sticking around as I ramble about all these anime. And if your favorite anime was lower than you expected, just letting you know these were all based off my personal experiences and opinions with these anime. So your order may be different for these series. But I want to know, what was your favorite anime from this summer season? What does your list look like? Were there any anime you thought were good but weren't on the list? Would you have ranked some of these anime differently than how I ranked them? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos like this. And until then, I'll see you on the next one.